Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel, where we bring you critical and in-depth reviews of just about every indie game we can get our hands on, and today we're going to be taking a look at Summer Catchers for the Nintendo Switch. And while I won't be talking about it explicitly until later in the review, this game did surprise me for a couple of reasons that I really didn't expect. But diving straight into the story in Summer Catchers, we pretty much start with our main character, who's a small girl waking up in the snow in the dead of winter, realizing that she's never actually experienced summer. And so the entire motivation for her to keep pushing further and further into the game is to find the ocean in that summery wonderland that she has yet to see. Summer isn't exactly close by though. As a matter of fact, it exists as a fairly far away land, and she'll have to interact with a lot of goofy oddball characters in order to make her way there. But fundamentally, as Summer Catchers is an almost roguelike RPG runner style game, you can expect that even though you only have to cross through about 7 different town areas, it may take you quite a while to get there. Each town, or I should just say shop with characters, is its own unique style with its own unique themes. And each shop will have at least one character that you can interact with to help them in order to help you on your way. Helping them, of course, will involve accomplishing certain tasks. And of course, as a primarily runner-style game, accomplishing these tasks will have you running through an obstacle course of things to crash into, jump over, or possibly splash down in. And so while moving forward in a controlled rate of speed is pretty easy, one thing that's not is actually navigating between the game's variety of tools. As you play through Summer Catchers, you'll be constantly grabbing up as many mushrooms as you can get, which act as the game's in-game currency. With these you can unlock new hats, new rides, and of course pay for certain abilities such as attachable bumpers to crash through objects like totem poles or rocks, jumpy tires, propellers to loft you over certain obstacles, or even booster rockets to push you that much further and faster to possibly get away from some of the game's bosses. Other than that, there are a handful of things you can pick up on your way as you race through each one of these obstacle courses, such as bubbles that will protect you from one bit of damage or even grant you some more speed as you try and climb up hills, as well as some temporary power-ups such as the drum ability, which temporarily springs up new mushrooms to fill your bank account, or even a hunting horn that you can grab out of the air to call any animals that you may have made some friendships with along the way. But while this seems simple and straightforward, with all of the items you can buy in a shop to kind of make sure you make it to the end of each race safely, you only have 3 accessible item spots to use at any given time. And this means that no matter how many items you may have purchased or how many special abilities you may need to accomplish certain tasks for the denizens of the game, they will be randomly shuffled in and out of your 3 accessible spots every time you either use an ability or press Y to swap one out. And so as you can imagine, most of your gaming runs are going to result in not getting the right tool at the right time and crashing your little rig. And I think that this might be a good time to note that each of the levels is randomized every time you go into a new race. So in short, yes, both the course and your usable items in your purchased inventory are randomized for every single playthrough, which means that it is possible to get put into some pretty impossible situations. Taking a step back from the raw mechanics of the game though, as you do cruise your way further and further into Summer Catchers, you might start to realize that even though this is a pretty straightforward runner-style game, there may be something much larger going on in the background. But not to give away too much, it's time to talk about the game's presentation, being its visuals and its audio. Visually, Summer Catchers is a beautiful game. It's hard to get past how it can be both retro and modern at the same time, and just how appealing the graphic nature of the game is. It's difficult, it can be challenging, and sometimes it can make you want to walk away, but it's just so flippin' cute. And this not only exists in the raw presentation of the game, but in the short little interactions of dialogue that the main character has with any other characters. The game is just cute. The audio soundtrack as well is equally well presented to the visuals and to the overall nature of the game. And not just in its soundtrack, because between bouts of racing, there's also little side games and maybe musical rhythm games to keep you entertained. And I have to say, while some of the rhythm games portions may be difficult, they're actually probably better than some actual rhythm game titles that I've played. But anyway, with as much praise as I have already lavished on top of Summer Catchers, there are some things that a gamer might want to be aware of before they dive into the game. And first and foremost would probably be Summer Catchers' genre. It's not, as at least I expected looking at it, some sort of RPG. It's actually a pretty straightforward Endless Runner style game. And so if you're not a fan of playing games where you cannot control the pace of your main character, well, that might be a bit of a turnoff. And then for players who are cool with the runner style genre and do enjoy those types of games, the combination of randomized level design and randomized ability access does put an extra edge of difficulty that might not typically be suited for this genre. And that combined with the interlude of quests at every stop and the occasional boss fight at the end of each area, well, like I said in the beginning of the review, it's quite a surprising mix of gaming dynamics. But somehow, as frustrating as it can get, it's so flippin' darn cute. And there's that weird thing going on in the background every once in a while that it can just somehow manage to keep pulling you back in to keep playing, either because it's an adorable, enjoyable experience, or because you really just want to know what really is going on with this attempt to catch summer. Other than that, a consideration for the game is its difficulty in control. The control scheme of toggling back and forth between abilities and selecting them does get a bit hectic, but much more so if playing with a pro controller. And so if you are getting Summer Catchers for the Switch, I would highly encourage you to be playing it in handheld mode and actually using the touchscreen for those big old soft key buttons on the side, because it will dramatically improve your gameplay. But if for some reason you absolutely have to play the game in docked mode like I do to be able to record, you can also change the difficulty level of the game at any point in time. So don't worry if you intend to play it more for the story. But in all honesty, other than that, other than the kind of style blend of the game and the difficulty level and the difficulty of the control scheme with everything being so tangibly randomized, there's really not that much to critique about Summer Catchers. As an entire experience, it's absolutely beautiful, and there's a lot to draw you in and keep you going. But if you are looking for a challenge, you can also turn that difficulty up into a harder difficulty level. And so if you are just looking for another beautifully pixelated indie game with a more modern retro feel, or if you're looking for something that's a bit more story-driven with kind of an ambiance of something bigger going on, then Summer Catchers, especially right now while it's on sale for only a couple dollars, might be worth a try. But anyway, that does about wrap up the review of Summer Catchers now on the Nintendo Switch. So if you enjoyed the review, or especially if you found it helpful, feel free to throw us a comment or a like to show your support. And don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content, because there are new and unique indie games coming out literally every single day. And so whether you see a game like this and you think, nah, that's an easy hard pass, or maybe you think that it's an absolutely unforgettable gem, you can make that decision for yourself. But if it's on the Switch, you can almost guarantee that you're going to find it right here. But anyway, this has been The Budget Gamer, so as always, thanks for watching.